Alex Carter stepped into the vibrant lobby of the Grand Mirage Hotel in Miami, Florida, feeling a rush of excitement. The air was thick with the scent of fresh flowers and the low hum of laughter and conversation. As a travel blogger, Alex had visited countless places, but there was something about this hotel that felt different, alive with energy and possibility. After checking in, Alex made their way to the room, a sleek space with floor-to-ceiling windows that offered a stunning view of the ocean. The sun was beginning to set, casting a golden hue over the water. Alex dropped their bags and took a moment to soak in the beauty of the scene outside. This weekend was meant for inspiration, for new stories to tell, and Alex was determined to make the most of it. Feeling adventurous, Alex decided to explore the hotel bar that evening. The atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter and music. As they settled onto a bar stool, they ordered a cocktail and glanced around. That's when Alex noticed three strangers at a nearby table, their laughter ringing out like music. The first was Jasper, an artist with tousled dark hair and an effortless charm. He wore a loose-fitting shirt that hinted at his creative spirit. Next to him sat Lila, a musician whose vibrant personality radiated from her bright attire and infectious smile. The third was Ethan, an entrepreneur whose confidence was palpable. He had an air of sophistication that drew people in. As the night unfolded, their eyes met across the room. With a playful grin, Jasper raised his glass in a silent toast to Alex. Encouraged by his boldness, Alex returned the gesture. Moments later, Jasper stood up and approached. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, his voice smooth like honey. "Not at all," Alex replied, intrigued by his magnetic presence. The two struck up a conversation that flowed effortlessly. Jasper shared stories about his art exhibitions in New York City while Alex recounted adventures from various travel destinations. It wasn't long before Lila joined them, her energy lighting up the space even more. "Did someone say adventure?" Lila chimed in, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Ethan followed suit, leaning against the bar with an easy smile. "I think we're all here for a little escape," he said, glancing between Alex and Jasper with a knowing look. As they talked and laughed together, it became clear that they were all seeking something, whether it was inspiration, connection, or simply a break from reality. The chemistry among them was undeniable, each shared moment felt charged with possibility. After several rounds of drinks and engaging conversations about dreams and desires, Jasper leaned closer to Alex. "You know," he said softly, "there's something about this place that makes you want to let go of your inhibitions." Alex felt a flutter in their chest at his words. "I couldn't agree more," they replied. With the night still young and spirits high, Jasper proposed an idea that sent shivers down Alex's spine. "Why don't we take this party to your room? It'll be more fun without all these distractions." Alex hesitated for just a moment but then felt an overwhelming sense of adventure wash over them. "Sure, let's do it," they said with newfound confidence. As they made their way to the elevator together, Lila skipping ahead while Ethan walked closely beside her, Alex couldn't shake off the feeling that this night would change everything. The thrill of uncertainty mixed with excitement filled the air as they entered the hotel room. Once inside, laughter erupted again as they settled into a cozy atmosphere filled with anticipation. They played games and shared stories under dim lights that flickered like stars above them. Each revelation brought them closer. Together, layers of their personalities peeling away like petals from a flower. In those moments of vulnerability and connection, Alex realized that this weekend wasn't just about finding inspiration for their blog, it was about experiencing life in its rawest form, full of passion and spontaneity. As the clock ticked on and the night deepened, Alex couldn't help but wonder what lay ahead with these three strangers who had so quickly become friends, and perhaps something more. The atmosphere in the hotel room was electric, charged with laughter and the promise of adventure. As the evening wore on, Alex felt an exhilarating mix of excitement and nervousness. The three strangers, Jasper, Lila, and Ethan, had quickly become more than just fellow guests, they were companions in a night that felt destined for something extraordinary. "Let's play a game," Lila suggested, her eyes sparkling with mischief. She leaned forward, her vibrant energy infectious. "How about truth or dare?" Alex exchanged glances with Jasper and Ethan, who both nodded in agreement. "Sounds fun," Jasper said, grinning. They settled into a circle on the plush carpet, the dim light casting playful shadows around them. Lila went first, spinning an imaginary wheel in her mind. Okay, Alex. Truth or dare? Alex took a moment to consider. Truth, they replied, feeling a rush of adrenaline. Tell us your most embarrassing travel story, Lila prompted, her smile encouraging. Alex laughed nervously. All right, but you have to promise not to judge me. They took a deep breath and launched into the tale of the time they accidentally booked a hostel that turned out to be a party house. I ended up in a room full of strangers who were all celebrating a birthday at 3 a.m. I was so tired but couldn't escape because they insisted on including me in their celebration. Lila burst out laughing, her laughter ringing like music in the air. That's amazing. I love it. It was Jasper's turn next. All right, Lila. Truth or dare? He asked with a playful smirk. Dare, she declared boldly. I dare you to sing your favorite song right here, right now, Jasper challenged. Without missing a beat, Lila jumped to her feet and began belting out a catchy tune that filled the room with her voice. Alex watched in awe as she danced around, her spirit lighting up every corner of the space. Ethan joined in, clapping along and cheering her on. Once Lila finished her impromptu performance, it was Ethan's turn. He looked at Alex with a mischievous glint in his eye. All right, Alex. Truth or dare? Dare, Alex replied, feeling emboldened by the atmosphere. I dare you to kiss someone in this room, Ethan said with a grin. A wave of heat rushed through Alex as they glanced around at the three of them. The playful tension in the air thickened as they considered their options. Jasper looked intrigued while Lila raised an eyebrow playfully. Without overthinking it, Alex leaned toward Jasper and pressed their lips against his for a brief moment. It was soft and electrifying, a spark igniting between them that sent shivers down Alex's spine. Wow, Jasper breathed when they pulled away, his eyes wide with surprise and delight. That was unexpected. Lila squealed with excitement. I love this game. Ethan chuckled but then turned serious for a moment. Okay, my turn again, he said, looking at Lila with an intensity that made the air feel charged once more. Truth or dare? Truth, she said confidently. What's your biggest dream? He asked, his tone sincere. Lila paused for a moment before answering. I want to perform at Coachella one day, she said earnestly. Music is my life, and I want to share it with as many people as possible. The room fell silent for a moment as everyone absorbed her words. There was something deeply inspiring about Lila's passion that resonated within each of them. As the game continued, laughter filled the room alongside deeper conversations that revealed more about their hopes and fears. They shared stories about their childhoods, how Jasper had always been drawn to art from a young age and how Ethan had started his first business at just 16 years old. Eventually, Lila suggested they take things up a notch. Let's make this night unforgettable. Why don't we go up to the rooftop pool? I hear it's stunning at night. The idea sent a thrill through Alex's veins. Yes, let's do it, they exclaimed. They quickly gathered their things and made their way to the elevator, excitement bubbling among them like champagne fizzing in glasses. As they stepped into the elevator together, Alex felt an undeniable connection growing stronger between them all. Once they reached the rooftop pool area, the view took their breath away. The city lights twinkled like stars beneath them while the moon cast a silvery glow over everything. The water shimmered invitingly under the night sky. This is incredible, Lila gasped as she ran towards the edge of the pool. Jasper followed closely behind her while Ethan turned to Alex with an amused smile. What do you think? Should we jump in? He asked teasingly. Alex laughed but felt a rush of spontaneity surge through them again. Why not? They replied boldly. Without hesitation, they all stripped down to their swimsuits and dove into the cool water together with joyful splashes that echoed into the night. As they swam under the stars, laughing and splashing each other, Alex couldn't shake off the feeling that this night was just beginning and that whatever happened next would be unforgettable. The water was refreshingly cool against Alex's skin as they swam in the rooftop pool, laughter echoing off the walls of the hotel. The city lights twinkled below like a sea of stars, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. The playful splashes and cheerful shouts created a sense of freedom that Alex hadn't experienced in a long time. Lila was the first to break away from the group, swimming to the edge of the pool and leaning against the side. This is amazing, she exclaimed, her hair slicked back and glistening in the moonlight. I can't believe we're actually doing this. Jasper floated over to her, his expression relaxed and carefree. You know, this is what life is all about, spontaneity and fun, he said, his voice warm. We should do this more often. Ethan joined them at the edge, water dripping from his toned body as he leaned on his elbows. I agree. We should make a pact to have more nights like this, he suggested, glancing at Alex with a playful smile. Feeling emboldened by the moment, Alex nodded enthusiastically. Absolutely. Let's make it a tradition, they said, their heart racing at the thought of more adventures with these newfound friends. As they continued to swim and play, the conversation shifted to deeper topics. Lila floated on her back, staring up at the stars. You know, I've always believed that music brings people together, she mused. It's like a universal language. Jasper nodded in agreement. That's so true. Art does the same thing for me. It's my way of expressing what words can't. Alex felt a warmth spread through them as they listened to their friends share their passions. For me, traveling is everything, they said, treading water lightly. There's something magical about exploring new places and meeting new people. Ethan turned to Alex, his gaze intense yet inviting. What's your favorite place you've ever visited? He asked. Alex thought for a moment, recalling their travels. I think it has to be Kyoto in Japan, they replied. The culture is so rich, and the beauty of the temples is breathtaking. It felt like stepping into another world. Wow, I've always wanted to go there. Lila exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. What was your favorite part? The cherry blossoms in spring, Alex said, their voice filled with nostalgia. They bloom like clouds of pink cotton candy everywhere, it's surreal. As they shared stories about their travels and dreams, Alex noticed how effortlessly they connected with each other. There was an unspoken understanding among them, a bond that felt both thrilling and comforting. After some time, Jasper suggested they take a break from swimming and relax on one of the lounge chairs by the poolside. They all climbed out of the water, laughter spilling into the night as they wrapped themselves in towels. Sitting together under the stars, Alex felt a sense of belonging that was unexpected yet welcomed. They watched as Jasper pulled out his phone and began playing soft music, a soothing melody that blended perfectly with the ambiance. Let's share our dreams, Jasper proposed after a few moments of comfortable silence. What do you all want to achieve in life? Lila spoke first, her voice thoughtful. I want to perform on big stages and connect with people through my music, she said earnestly. It's my passion, and I want to inspire others. Ethan followed suit, leaning back against his chair as he spoke. I want to build something meaningful, something that can help others succeed, he said with conviction. Business is my playground, but I want it to have a purpose. Alex took a deep breath before sharing their own dream. I want to create stories that resonate with people, stories that inspire them to see the world differently. They paused for a moment before adding, and maybe find love along the way. The air grew still for a moment as everyone absorbed Alex's words. There was something raw and vulnerable about sharing dreams in such an intimate setting. Jasper turned to Alex with a soft smile. You're already doing that by sharing your experiences through your blog, he said genuinely. Feeling encouraged by Jasper's words, Alex smiled back but then noticed Lila looking at them thoughtfully. What about you? Lila asked gently. Do you believe in love? Alex hesitated for just a moment before responding honestly. I do believe in love, they said quietly. But I think it's complicated, especially when you're trying to navigate your own path. Ethan leaned forward slightly, intrigued by Alex's perspective. Love can be messy but also incredibly beautiful, he added thoughtfully. As they continued discussing love, its complexities and joys, the conversation flowed naturally between them like water in a stream. The connection deepened further with each shared thought and emotion. Suddenly, Lila stood up with renewed energy and declared, let's make this night even more memorable. Who wants to jump back into the pool? Without waiting for an answer, she sprinted toward the edge and leapt into the water with a splash that sent droplets flying everywhere. Alex laughed and followed suit without hesitation. Jumping into the cool water once again felt liberating after such an intense conversation. As they swam under the stars once more, splashes echoing around them, Alex realized how quickly these three strangers had become an important part of their journey. In that moment of joy and connection beneath the vast sky filled with stars, Alex couldn't help but wonder what other adventures awaited them during this unforgettable weekend. The night continued to unfold like a beautiful dream as Alex, Jasper, Lila, and Ethan swam and laughed together in the rooftop pool. The stars twinkled overhead, and the city lights below created a magical backdrop that made everything feel surreal. However, just as the atmosphere reached its peak of joy, a sudden knock on the door broke the spell. "Hey, is everything all right in there?" A voice called out from the other side. It was hotel security, responding to noise complaints from other guests. The laughter and splashes came to an abrupt halt as the four of them exchanged startled glances. "Uh-oh," Lila whispered, her eyes wide with mischief. "What do we do now?" Jasper quickly swam to the edge of the pool and climbed out, dripping water everywhere. "Let's play it cool," he said, trying to mask his nervousness with a confident grin. "We can just say we were having a little fun." Ethan followed suit, stepping out of the pool and wrapping a towel around his waist. "I'll handle this," he said, his tone reassuring. He walked over to the door and opened it slightly, peeking out at the security officer. "Everything's fine. Just a little late night swimming," Ethan said with a charming smile that seemed to ease the officer's concern. The officer raised an eyebrow but softened at Ethan's demeanor. "Just keep it down, all right. We've had a few complaints," he replied before turning to leave. Ethan closed the door and turned back to the group, relief washing over him. "Crisis averted," he announced, earning a round of laughter from everyone. "Let's take this party somewhere else," Lila suggested excitedly. "How about we head up to the rooftop terrace? I heard it has an amazing view." Alex felt a thrill at the idea. "Yes, let's do it," they agreed, feeling invigorated by the spontaneity of the night. They quickly dried off and made their way up another flight of stairs to the rooftop terrace. As they stepped outside, they were greeted by a breathtaking panorama of Miami, skyscrapers glittering against the night sky and waves gently lapping at the shore far below. "This is incredible," Jasper exclaimed, taking in the view with wide eyes. He pulled out his phone and snapped a few pictures, capturing the moment for posterity. Lila leaned against the railing, her hair dancing in the breeze. "It feels like we're on top of the world," she said dreamily. As they stood together, soaking in the beauty around them, Alex felt an undeniable connection forming among them, a bond that transcended mere friendship. It was as if they were all part of something bigger than themselves. After a few moments of silence filled with awe, Jasper turned to Alex with curiosity. "So what do you think about love?" he asked suddenly, his expression serious yet open. Alex was taken aback by the question but felt compelled to answer honestly. "I think love is one of those things that can be both beautiful and terrifying," they replied thoughtfully. "It has this incredible power to change us but can also leave us vulnerable." Lila nodded in agreement. "It's like music," she added. "Sometimes it lifts you up, and other times it breaks your heart." Ethan leaned against the railing beside Lila, his gaze fixed on Alex. "Have you ever been in love?" he asked softly. Alex hesitated for a moment before responding. "I thought I was once," they admitted slowly. "But it turned out to be more infatuation than anything real." Jasper looked at Alex with empathy. "That's understandable," he said gently. "Love can be complicated." The conversation deepened as they shared their experiences, each story revealing layers of vulnerability that brought them closer together. They spoke about heartbreaks that had shaped their lives and moments when love had felt like magic. Just then, Lila broke the serious tone with her infectious laughter. "Okay, enough about heartbreak. Let's lighten things up. How about we do something crazy?" she suggested with a sparkle in her eye. "What do you have in mind?" Ethan asked with intrigue. "Let's have a dance party," Lila declared enthusiastically. She pulled out her phone and connected it to a portable speaker she had brought along. As upbeat music began to fill the air, Lila started dancing freely under the stars. Jasper joined her first, moving with an effortless rhythm that made Alex smile. Ethan followed suit, shaking off any lingering seriousness from their earlier conversation. Alex watched for a moment before feeling an irresistible urge to join in. They moved toward Jasper and Lila, letting loose as laughter bubbled up inside them once again. The rooftop terrace transformed into their own private dance floor, a place where worries faded away amidst laughter and music. The night felt alive as they danced together under the stars, each movement bringing them closer. As they danced wildly, twirling and spinning, Alex caught Jasper's eye across the space between them. In that moment, everything else faded away, it was just them under the moonlight with music wrapping around them like an embrace. Suddenly, Lila stopped dancing and pointed dramatically toward the horizon. "Look! The sunrise is coming," she exclaimed excitedly. Everyone turned to see hints of orange and pink beginning to streak across the sky, a breathtaking sight that took their breath away after hours of dancing and laughter. "This is perfect," Ethan said quietly as they all stood together at the edge of the terrace watching nature's beauty unfold before them. As dawn broke over Miami, a new day beginning, the four of them stood side by side in comfortable silence, feeling grateful for this unforgettable night filled with connection and spontaneity. In that moment under the rising sun, Alex realized how much these three strangers had come to mean to them in such a short time, and how this weekend had transformed into something truly special. As the first light of dawn broke over Miami, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Alex felt a sense of wonder wash over them. The rooftop terrace was still buzzing with the remnants of laughter and music from the night before, but now it was filled with a serene beauty that felt almost sacred. Lila, Jasper, Ethan, and Alex stood together at the edge, mesmerized by the sunrise. "This is breathtaking," Lila whispered, her voice soft as she leaned against the railing. The warmth of the sun began to touch their skin, chasing away the coolness of the night air. Jasper nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "It's moments like this that remind you how beautiful life can be," he said thoughtfully. "We should never take them for granted." Ethan turned to Alex, his expression serious yet inviting. "I'm really glad we all met," he said. "This weekend has been incredible." "Absolutely," Alex agreed, feeling a warmth spread through them at Ethan's words. "I didn't expect to connect with anyone like this." As they stood there together, a comfortable silence enveloped them. It was as if they were all sharing an unspoken understanding, a bond that had formed through shared experiences and vulnerabilities. But beneath that comfort lay an undercurrent of tension. Feelings were beginning to surface that none of them had yet dared to articulate. After a few moments, Lila broke the silence with her usual exuberance. "Okay, who's up for breakfast? I don't know about you all, but I'm starving." She stretched her arms above her head and turned toward the door leading back inside. "Sounds good to me," Jasper replied enthusiastically, following her lead. Ethan looked at Alex with a playful grin. "Race you down," he challenged before sprinting toward the door. Alex laughed and took off after him, their competitive spirit ignited. They dashed down the stairs together, laughter echoing off the walls as they reached the lobby. The hotel's breakfast area was bustling with guests enjoying their morning meals. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee and pastries filled the air, making Alex's stomach growl in anticipation. They found a cozy table by a window and settled in, excitement bubbling among them as they scanned the menu. Over breakfast, conversation flowed easily again as they shared their favorite foods and travel experiences. Lila animatedly recounted a time she had tried street food in Thailand that had turned out to be surprisingly delicious. Jasper chimed in with his own culinary adventures in Italy, where he had learned to make authentic pasta from scratch. As they laughed and shared stories, Alex couldn't help but notice how effortlessly they all connected, each moment drawing them closer together. But beneath the surface of their camaraderie lay unspoken feelings that lingered like shadows. Once breakfast was finished, Lila suggested they explore Miami together before heading back home. "Let's make today just as memorable," she exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. "What do you have in mind?" Jasper asked, leaning forward with interest. "How about we hit up South Beach?" Lila proposed. "We can soak up some sun and maybe even dip our toes in the ocean." Ethan nodded eagerly. "That sounds perfect. I could use some beach time after last night." Alex felt a surge of excitement at the idea of spending more time with them in such a vibrant setting. "Let's do it," they agreed. After quickly changing into beach attire and grabbing essentials from their rooms, they piled into Ethan's car, a sleek convertible that added to the thrill of their adventure. As they drove toward South Beach, laughter filled the car while music played loudly from the speakers. Once they arrived at South Beach, they were greeted by golden sands and turquoise waters stretching out before them. The sun hung high in the sky, casting a warm glow over everything. "This is paradise," Lila exclaimed as she jumped out of the car and ran toward the shoreline. Alex followed closely behind, feeling exhilarated by the energy around them. They kicked off their shoes and raced toward the water, shrieking with delight as waves crashed against their legs. Jasper joined them in the water while Ethan set up a spot on the beach with towels and sunscreen. The four of them splashed around playfully, each wave bringing more laughter and joy. After some time swimming and playing in the surf, they took a break on the beach to soak up some sun. Lila lay back on her towel with her sunglasses on while Jasper sketched something in his notebook nearby. Ethan turned to Alex as they sat side by side on their towels. "What do you think about all this?" he asked softly, gesturing to their surroundings, the ocean sparkling under the sun and people enjoying their day all around them. "It feels surreal," Alex replied honestly. "I never expected to have such an amazing weekend or meet people who understand me so well." Ethan smiled warmly at Alex's words but then grew serious for a moment. "I've been thinking about what you said last night, about love," he began cautiously. Alex's heart raced at his sudden shift in tone. "Yeah, I think love is worth pursuing even when it's complicated," he continued earnestly. "Life is too short not to take risks when it comes to matters of the heart." Before Alex could respond, Lila sat up suddenly from her towel, interrupting their conversation with excitement. "Hey, let's go for a walk along the beach. I want to collect some seashells." "Great idea," Jasper agreed enthusiastically as he closed his sketchbook. The group got up and started walking along the shoreline together, waves lapping at their feet while laughter echoed around them once more. As they strolled along the beach, collecting seashells and sharing stories, the sun continued its ascent into the sky above them. But amidst all this joy lay an unspoken tension. Feelings were growing stronger among them all, a mix of friendship and something deeper that none dared to acknowledge just yet. As they walked side by side, Alex feeling both exhilarated and anxious, they couldn't shake off the feeling that this weekend was leading them towards something significant, a turning point that would change everything for each of them. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm glow over South Beach, Alex felt a mixture of exhilaration and trepidation. The day had been filled with laughter, shared stories, and moments that felt almost magical. But beneath the surface of their newfound friendship lay unspoken feelings that hung in the air like a sweet tension, waiting to be addressed. After collecting an array of colorful seashells along the shore, Lila suggested they find a spot to sit and enjoy the view. They settled down on a stretch of soft sand, the ocean waves rhythmically crashing nearby. The sound was soothing, yet Alex's heart raced as they glanced at Jasper and Ethan, who were deep in conversation. "Look at these," Lila exclaimed, holding up a particularly beautiful shell. "Isn't it stunning?" Her excitement was infectious, and everyone turned to admire her find. "It's perfect," Jasper agreed, leaning closer to examine it. "You have an eye for beauty, Lila." As they chatted about their shells and shared more stories from their lives, Alex couldn't shake off the feeling that this moment was pivotal. They looked at Ethan, who was watching Lila with an appreciative smile. There was something undeniable between them, a spark that seemed to ignite every time they shared a laugh or a glance. "Hey, Alex," Ethan said, suddenly, breaking into Alex's thoughts. "What's your favorite memory from this weekend?" Alex paused to consider the question. "Honestly, it's hard to choose just one," they replied thoughtfully. "But I think it has to be last night, the rooftop dance party and watching the sunrise together. It felt like we were in our own little world." Lila nodded enthusiastically. "That was incredible. I'll never forget how free we all felt." Jasper leaned back on his hands, gazing out at the ocean. "It's moments like that which remind you how important it is to live in the present," he said softly. As they continued talking about their favorite moments, Alex felt a surge of courage bubbling up inside them. They needed to address the emotions swirling around them before the weekend came to an end. "Can I share something?" Alex began, their voice steady but tinged with vulnerability. Everyone turned their attention toward them, curiosity evident in their expressions. "This weekend has been amazing for me, not just because of the fun we've had but because of all of you." Jasper smiled encouragingly while Lila leaned forward, her eyes bright with interest. "I've felt a connection with each of you that I can't quite explain," Alex continued, feeling their heart race. "And I think it's important to acknowledge that sometimes connections can lead to something deeper." Ethan's gaze intensified as he listened closely. "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" he asked carefully. "I think I am," Alex replied, feeling both scared and liberated by their honesty. "I don't want this weekend to end without expressing how much you all mean to me." Lila's eyes sparkled with understanding. "I feel it too," she admitted softly. "There's something special about our bond." Jasper nodded in agreement, his expression earnest. I've felt drawn to all of you in ways I didn't expect, he confessed. It's refreshing to connect with people who understand me. The air grew thick with emotion as they all absorbed each other's words. It was as if a weight had been lifted, a shared acknowledgement of feelings that had been building throughout their time together. Ethan leaned closer to Alex, his voice low and sincere. I've been thinking about this too, he said softly. I didn't want to rush anything or make things awkward, but I feel something real between us. Alex's heart swelled at his words, the vulnerability in his tone resonating deeply within them. Lila reached out and took both Jasper's and Ethan's hands in hers. Whatever happens next, let's promise to stay connected, she said earnestly. This weekend has changed us all. They all nodded in agreement, an unspoken pact forming among them as they sat together on the beach under the warm sun. As they shared smiles filled with understanding and hope for what lay ahead, Alex felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude wash over them. This weekend had been more than just an escape, it had been a journey of self-discovery and connection, a reminder that love could blossom in unexpected places. With the ocean waves crashing beside them and laughter echoing into the air once more, they knew this was only the beginning of something beautiful. As they sat together, hands intertwined and hearts open, the sun shone brightly above them, illuminating their path forward.